What happened?
I'm having time intro, man.
Oh
Yo,
yeah, because we wasn't slipping and sliding.
yeah, what's up with that, man?
And man,
The senses, man. The senses.
nah. I think So we just have to just gotta fine tune. We spend the time there, right?
I don't know what happened. Yeah, the intro. But anyway, hey,
Saturday.
hey,
Good morning.
hey,
Good morning.
hello out there. Hey, yes. You know what I'm
At
saying?
least they could see us, right?
Yeah,
So
they can see us, which is a plus. That's a big thing for us that you can see us. Everything is lively and all that and clear. But this is Heyward CPA live back again on August 8th, 2026 in the building. This is the podcast of Heyward CPA PLLC. But I learned something this week because we're doing the online production meeting. I learned how we have to position BizTherapy. We have to give a disclaimer that it's a sister company because I shared involvement in it. Like for real, like I had over like a couple of different conversations, and they kept going at it. I'm like, yo, it's all good, but they were like, yes,
it
that
ain't dawn on you.
no. Well, it was what's going on here, people, is that it's saying that so that we don't mislead the public. If a lead generates from here for either one, to make it clear that it's affiliated,
Yeah,
closely affiliated.
yeah. It's all connected.
So that changes the way on the front end. I'm James Heyward. I'm principal of Heyward CPA. That's Kory Franklin, the head coach of BizTherapy Coaching. And BizTherapy Coaching is, you know, closely affiliated to my company, Heyward Management Company. It's a joint venture. And Korsulting, well, I was about to say incorporated, Korsulting. But it's
Korsulting,
yeah,
yes.
so every show, we're gonna start with the disclaimer, and it's here for you. So for your coaching needs, it's biz therapy. For your accounting needs, it's Heyward CPA. Make that totally clear. And now we can get
And
to
for your deeper conversations, it's conversations with Corp.
yeah. But we're gonna so the thing is we gotta do the commercials. I'm ready to drop the commercials for the shows in here. So it's about to go down. I've done a lot of work this weekend. This week, this week's topic really um, could be marketing, but I'm gonna get through. I'm gonna let you give the recap of your bi-weekly activity. I try not to choke to death here, but so let's tell the people, how it's hanging, what's good, how you feeling.
Yeah, I'm good, man. Saturday, I'm ready to go fishing. Um, I started watching my little YouTube fishing stuff this morning. So I'm anxious. Uh, tapped into my rides this morning and everything in the car. Just gonna go and just
Oh, okay.
pull my ride out, and it's relaxation, but it's also a combination of things. Because fishing, think about it. If fishing, you take a rod, you got a string, you got some bait, you throw it in the water, you can't see under the water. So the question is, are you placing your rod in the right place?
Yeah. So
Marketing. Do you have the right bait,
yes.
right? Pitch, purpose,
So yeah,
value.
you heavy first. First.
right,
Yeah,
right, and then but you gotta have patience, and then you gotta have intention, and then you gotta focus. So fishing allows you to have all of those things, in
I
place.
got
Other than that, listen, I'm just trying to find, those people. Biz therapy works alongside those business owners that are that want to grow but don't know which way to go. And so we've had a few conversations this week. We had, a couple events this week. This is Black Business Month, and the chamber, the Greater Black Chamber of Commerce of Durham.
Mhm.
There's plenty of events that is happening, and that's where we're trying to find those that really need the assistance, provide the information and need the assistance to continue to grow their business, right? And so, how does Biz Therapy help? How does Heyward CPA help? How does any other professional organization that is in it to help small businesses, entrepreneurs, founders actually grow? Right? What are your challenges? What are your bottlenecks? What are your pain points? How do we help? Um, that's where we at.
All right.
August 8th, we're in the August time now, man. Summer getting ready. Summer's right around the corner.
Oh yeah.
The end of summer, I should say.
Yeah. Which leads to, I think, what you said. I think what I'm ready to share is activity for the week, business activity. What is done? I did a lot this week, though, for real. Like seriously, to go in this time of year. With that being said, it's in our business, in the accounting industry, it's kind of dry. No pun intended, because it's hot. It's all get out. But it's a dry time. It's a time that you don't have. It's not a busy time. We have things called. We have two busy seasons. The major busy season that everybody knows about, and then we have the baby busy season. It starts roughly this month. Middle of this month. But from May to now, and then from November through February, were kind of low periods, very low periods. And I try to train myself over the years to handle some stuff. This is a period for us, whatever your slow period is. Like in retail is a different time of year, something like that. That's a great time to work on your business, and that's what I was able to do this week in a big way. Building on what you say, I got lots to say, but it's like because of course I had a biz therapy call this morning, so yeah. Incidentally, just since you full disclosure, I'm like unofficial. He's the head coach. He's the coach. I'm like one of the special coordinators. I do I do I do stuff like this, narrow stuff. But we coach in everything we do because that's our purpose in these organizations is to bring information to people to inform them and provide what's the big word now? Business intelligence. To build your business intelligence so that you can become a better business person. But I think even the conversations we had this week, I think those things can help people there because where they're starting from and just understanding what the process of building a business is about. I think that's what it gets there. I mean, so I'm going to throw a question to you real quick. Do you believe that, and I'm talking about the people we kind of come in contact with, so on and so forth, do they grasp the concept of building a business, like just the concept of building a business, or they just understand it from being in business? Like,
Okay, good question. So I'll say that they can grasp what it means. Uh, Initially, probably I won't say grasp. I would say that there's an unknowing in place, right? Grass is grasping it is about the ability to apply yourself, to achieve a new or learn a new skill or whatever, right? So I wouldn't go there yet. I would say there's an unknowing of what growing a business actually is, and there's different phases of it. There's so many different phases, and within those phases there's levels to actually to what growing a business means. But the initial piece is, I think most people look at it like, I need to make some money, I need to generate some revenue, I need some cash, don't have any cash, right? And so because there's that, I started a business I'm on the hook for. I got to make money to pay my bills and my taxes and all this other stuff. That a lot of other things creep. It goes away or creeps down below into a hole, and by the time you look up, or something draws your attention to it, now you want to focus on it, right? And so there's a level of anxiety. So that now that unknowing becomes tension, and that tension can turn into the ability to not necessarily grasp it at that time because there's pressure.
Mm-hmm. So
does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's saying so. I guess to moderate it, go in saying they don't grasp it, but I guess we're gonna define. So how do we define the difference between what you explain them doing and building a business? How would you explain it? How would you say the difference is?
Oh, simple. I mean, it's really a question to them on. It's not really an explanation. It's like I've learned. There's a time for explanation and there's a time for a question that you got to take a walk to answer, right? So the first, like you could throw a question out like, what happens when you get a client, right? That's kind of like a third in. You can go back to the beginning. How do you find your target client, right? Or where do they find you? And so, and they go, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. So now we're talking about, okay, so you got a process. Okay, great. Now, what system do you have in place to manage that, right? Because the grasping part, I should say, is managing, right? It's you have the beginning, you got the end, right? It's always the middle piece that most people don't grab a hold of, is managing. And managing has a lot of different elements in it. So we just take it down to a simple way of getting people to kind of lock in, and they go, oh wait, so you're saying when I get a client, I do this, and this. That's a process that should be documented, and some of it or most of it turned into a system. Yes. Didn't think about that. Now they can grasp, okay, well, now what's this? Now we have to deal with technology. Okay, this technology works for that system, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's okay, well, I'm not good at technology. Well, no one is. Okay, so but let's take your process and let's align it with that first part of the system, and you kind of walk, right? And so you coaching and teaching and implementing, because implementing is the piece. And then once you implement it, then it got to be some consistent activity.
Gotcha. So very good. We got Professor Core in the building. Thank you, Daphne. It's early in the morning too.
It is early in the morning. I won't be for that. But it's all
been up, you ready to go fishing, so you hitting you hitting the high level, you hitting the long. You did good though, because you didn't use too many syllables. That was very good. It was awesome. So, but check it out. Check this out. My concept. Absolutely. But I go back to the essence of it. in terms of, hey, when I look at the mindset, which I go with data. That's what y'all gonna find moving forward. I'm about data because we're in the age where data is all over the place and people don't know how to use it, and because they don't have direction in using data. But the biggest thing is to me is mindset. And what happens is when you start out, so just talking from the tax stuff and accounting, you start as a sole proprietor. You think like a sole proprietor. I do everything. I mean, it's all me. I'm the business, and that's why I'm getting it. I'm the business. But in order to build something, it has to exist away from you, which is what you just talked about, the systems and all that. But you have to get in your mind that you and the business are separate. It's an active shift that I experienced myself from a point where, like when I went to the S corp, I was like, yeah, now it's separate. Like it's separate. I always treated it as separate on the low, but then when the S corp, I was like, okay, yeah, it's a thing unto itself. But it doesn't take you to do that to get there. It's about understanding that you're creating an entity, regardless of its tax designation, to do a thing that provides you economic resources. You personally on the back end. That's what you do. So your mindset in building the business, and we appreciate this from your architectural background. Just like any building or house, because we all love going into real estate. It's the first thing you got to build any structure.
Foundation.
That's it.
So now it all depends on what foundations you used to, right? So watch this. Like so I would say your foundation, my foundation, and whoever else foundation of growing into seeing and being a part of something that your parents, father, mother, whatever, uncles, aunts, whatever, right? You get to see it at an early age, and so your mindset already is creating a certain foundation. Just has to be developed. Now, that's not to say that if you weren't trained at an early age that you can't get there, right? Well, we're just talking about the differentiator of it. You said you were already thinking separate from the business, from yourself, before you flipped it into an S corp. That's because your brain was trained. You were a young entrepreneur under the tutelage of your father, because you seen how he moved and he brought you in at an early age. So you already knew the separation, and the separation is this: what we want as individuals. The business doesn't have a want. The business has a need.
Interesting. That's it. Interesting. I can build off of that. It's interesting. Very interesting. So it's here because to build on the part with my father. Well, first of all, the accounting wasn't my first business, as you mentioned. Okay. So I must take it back to the foundations. So if you build a foundation for a house, ultimately a home is what? Shelter. Just the basic. But you know what else is shelter? A tent on the ground. Both of them provide shelter. But you decide you're gonna build the house. That's the thing. Where and I bridge that to say that yes, I came with my father or stuff like that. But I had in my mind I was gonna do it different than he did.
Yeah.
So and not on no compare. Just like, okay, he's going here to this far, and we talk about this now. I'm like, you going this far? What sense would it make for me to do the exact same thing that you did?
Well, now you dipping into
Yeah,
a whole nother thing, which is generational, right? So we suppose our offsprings are supposed to stand on our shoulders and take it from there. It's a baton. So what our parents did, we supposed to take it and move it, and then our kids supposed to take it and move it further, and so on and so forth. So
yeah.
now we're looking at that aspect of it.
But I think I'm getting back to your other favorite word of 2026 is decision.
Decisions,
So
yeah,
when
decisions.
you decide that you're going to have a business or you're going to make a living. That's what it comes down to. When you get back to building a business, is deciding if you're going to create a thing or you're going to make a living. One of the biggest deals, the differences of self-employed, small business, and entrepreneurship, which I've written an article on before to identify from my point of view, the differences. Self-employed people tend to make a living for themselves. Some of them make them handsome living for themselves. And when you meet them, most of them are like, yeah, I could grow, but I don't want to deal with the headache of payroll or get somebody. Or, I could tell somebody how to XYZ. I can do it faster than telling somebody how to XYZ. Blah, blah, blah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, number 2. Second time we're waking up for the day. So I can do that. I can tell somebody fast it's walking in, so I make a living for myself. When you decide you're going to build something, whatever it is, you're committing to something that is going to cause you pain. It's going to cause you pain. It's not going to go smooth. It's not going to go as planned. It's not just going to happen. It's a process to doing it. So back to what I was asking before is that, people come in, and I'm not saying you're supposed to have this decision in year 1 or day 1. But what I'm saying is look, if people come, we'll take person A. They start using the words, I'm an entrepreneur, started a business, I make candles, whatever. You doing, all right? I'm just using candles. We're not even going to make it that specific. I make widget A. All right. I'm good at making widget A. My friends and family, we like it. They like it. We were sitting around, a family deal. That'd be a good business for you to do. Yeah. Yeah, I think people would buy that. This is how these things start now. So you go do it. I went on the internet. I looked up how to get my EIN. I'm a former LLC. So on and so forth. All right? Cool. Beautiful. Outstanding. You're doing that. But you ain't building no business. Like this is that did not make you a business person. Sorry. I said it. It's right. The daggers might come. But that, my friend, does not make you a business person at all. And so, but you get there, then they do stuff, it gets a little initial burn. They run into Kory. And one of his various appearances throughout the area, showing up on the scene. Let's say during Black Business Month. They go into events because now they realize they need help. They run into Kory. What do? He gives them the opening line. They're like, oh, I need help. Okay. So you go in, you have the call. And we realize that you don't even know what help you need because you not haven't even studied. There's some fundamental things you don't even know. You don't know what success is. what's success for you, not based on some article or what some person put on the internet saying I made $1 million. I love this. I was watching YouTube of things and people like, yeah, I went from making nothing to 500,000 a month. Okay, that's great. Whatever. All right, so like, and I'm not saying they not, but that's not the business we in over here. All right. So, but what I'm saying is they don't have these fundamental things that create the business. One of which is goals. What's the goal? So you, like you said earlier, a business doesn't have what wants. A business doesn't have wants. That's what you said.
Yeah, what you want, the business doesn't. There's a different. You have a want, the business has a need, right? So
yeah, the business has a need. Well, you know what the business needs? Purpose and a goal. You have to have a goal if you're in business. You just cannot not have a goal. So all these places these businesses that you think, I'll even go back to my music industry stuff. There were sales goals for these albums. They didn't just say, oh, it's hot in the streets, that's enough. No, we put money into the artists. Most times, in our era, they were forwarding to the production company, whoop. There's an investment in this project. That investment has to be recouped and processed. There's a number where we break even, term not used enough. When we break even, then it goes over the top. So businesses have goals. Go ahead. You name me a business that you buy stuff from and you think is big or whatever that doesn't have goals. Now, there are a lot of small businesses that don't have no goals, and we know that. That's why we out here trying to make ourselves available. And it's not, and not having a goal is not like a defect. It gets overlooked because of this same person with their widget. They're concentrating on the widget, and I make the widget good, so hereby people should just buy my widget, and then I'll just make money, and I don't know how much money. But when you get to someone such as myself that thinks numerically, okay, if you have 1 cent over 1 cent more than you spend in your business, you've turned a profit. 1 cent. And you can hereby say you're profitable. You doing it for 1 cent? So if you come to an advisor and say, I want to be profitable, okay. Here, you made 1 cent profit.
Yeah, that's a heavy bag to just pick up like that, right? That's why we have to break it down a little bit differently. Or back to your earlier thing, the question becomes, are you building a business or are you building a brand? Oh, right? Gosh. Yeah, right. Because the question becomes, well, why aren't people buying my stuff? Right? And so if you believe your stuff is of value, then you have to come from a value perspective, unless you're just selling transactional things.
Yeah. But
right? Most people that go on Amazon know, so Amazon built the brand already. Now it's just running the business, just selling you whatever it is that come across your feed. There's no value in a lot of those things unless there's value tied to it.
Oh, your person, the buyer's value, but most of it is, I mean, to be honest, it's made overseas. It's cheap. That's why we buy it. So that's the reality.
Let me go and buy that.
Yeah, we just,
Yeah. So
sometimes we buy things we already have in the house because we don't know where they are. But it's so cheap, I'll just get another.
So that's what I mean. So now, what makes somebody want to buy from you versus going someplace else if it's a transactional thing and not a value thing?
Yeah, but I think where people get hung up in value, but it's part of business building. So I'm gonna bring it back.
Yeah, you're right. All of it is business building.
Dude, this is when people run around in my brain. So back to the beginning, the goals. People don't know or don't think about what it takes to reach their goals because they don't have them.
Yeah, well, then the question goes, well, what is your goal, right? Goals are like them books in your background. It's written down and it's put on the shelf, right? It's now you got to take it a step further beyond just setting a goal.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's implementation. My point is just go. Like, okay, you get up in the morning, you say, look, my goal is to clean up the house, do the laundry, go grocery shopping. 3, let's stick at 3. But in the business, you just get up and just leave it to circumstance.
No, my goal is I need to make some money to pay a bill, right?
How much money?
Or I gotta go, or my goal is I gotta sell these units I have, right?
Okay, sell them for a penny, and you've achieved your goal.
No, that's that. Yeah, so we're saying the same thing, but we see how the perspectives is the avenues up to get to that same commonality is 2 different avenues, and that's the disparity between the conversations with people that need the guidance and the help to get to that, right? They on this road, we over here, and we trying to make sure that they get to this point.
Well, yeah, and well, part of the challenge is that people are picking the information up from external places.
Because information now is so free and so frequent, they don't even know where to go with this stuff.
Yeah, but they don't. It's so frequent and whatever, but you don't need it. It's inside of you. I was getting the North Star concept, which I'm gonna really blast this. Where are you going? Where is it? Like what? Where am I headed? So it is, and part of what I've talked about is like, and this is a little bit down the road, but if I'm saying, let's take widget person, widget A, we'll call them widget A for the remainder of this course. Widget A. What if your goals, and I'm talking about your end goal, because most people start a money, which you just said, they start a business to make money. Most people, that's what they do. Then you get to the next question. Well, how much money? And that's where things start falling apart.
Oh man, yeah, that's that.
I don't know.
I mean,
I just, so they'll do something. I've heard this. Well, so and so makes this much money in the space, so they might target that. Like this is full lateral corporation because your widget is the same thing they make. So your company, I can do that. Yeah, you could do that, but you ain't out the gate yet. What is money? What is success? What does it? What do we know? How do we know? And it's in you. And no one can tell. That's why when you go to an advisor, what I was saying is they meet you. We get in. You go to the advisor thing. Ultimately, one of your first questions is going to be dependent on them. Like it's just going to be like, well, why'd you start this? Oh well, I enjoy doing this, and a lot of people like it. A lot is usually like under 10 because it's usually family, and so I thought I would go ahead and go ahead and make a business out of it. Okay. Hey, listen, I want to make my usual disclaimer. I am all about entrepreneurship, all about it.
Well, that's what that's what this whole country was built off of, anyways.
Yeah, but this is difference of understanding. Where we're at now is we have a lot of our people don't even know what it is. They know the shell. They know what the end game looks like, but they don't know what the little seed. They're not familiar with the seed. They know the beanstalk. They don't know the little bean. They don't understand that, and the process of burying the bean and cultivating the bean and all that to get.
Well, a seed planted that turns into a plant is no longer a seed.
Yeah,
And so that's the difference. You got to understand that.
Yeah, and also every seed that's planted don't grow.
Well, yeah, because
So,
now you get into mechanics and stuff. Because seeds, seed. Are you planting a male or a female seed?
okay, yeah,
Right. I'm just
saying
saying because
I'm just talking about
it's a part that's when you planting seeds. That's because certain plants you got to go and remove. You got to separate them because they don't play nice after a while.
I'm just saying like this: if you plant grass, every grass seed that you put in the ground ain't gonna grow. That's all I'm trying.
Nah, it ain't. You right.
It just ain't gonna grow. You go to a whole nother level.
Well, no, because I'm just giving. You got to be able to walk around this information so people could grab it. That's how I move, right? Because
got my cousin in the room. He knows about
what up, G?
He get good seeds actually.
Huh?
At his church.
Oh, okay.
Do harvest. Yeah, they do. They do.
Needs good ground. Yeah. So now he talking about tilling the soil.
Yeah. Well, you need.
Yeah, that's good ground, right?
But like, so what is good ground? Foundation thing.
What is good ground? What does good ground mean, bro?
Right? Yo, see, hold up, man. See, you go on it. That you save that for Thursdays. That's what Thursday is about. It's like, you feel free to take.
No, me and G on the same page that needs good ground.
You need good ground.
So somebody could go outside and go, oh, this is good dirt. I'm gonna drop a seed in it, but you don't know it's good dirt.
Well, no, but that, I mean, it's once again we get to the same point. I'm just saying that. I'm trying to remember what I was saying now. Look, I was saying that it's trying to get people.
You talking about goals? You was at your goals point.
I'm just
numbers, goals, and numbers. Yeah.
But people, I can utilize what you're saying.
Yeah.
People go drop seeds in dirt. Because that's what it is. My family said this is a good idea. It's great like that.
Yeah.
That's dropping the seed on concrete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna grow just because, right?
True.
So what I'm trying to get at is that you gotta have goals. They have to, and then you have the big goal. You have these incremental goals.
I think most people have goals though.
I don't. I'm just
you definitely got goals. What you mean? Most people have goals, right? It's not the goal.
I'm gonna tell you why I say that though.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, finish. I'll tell you after you finish.
Most people have goals, right? Mm-hmm. Because goals are common.
Yeah.
It's if you I don't care if you 15 years old, 16 years old, and you worked at a fast food restaurant, they gave you a goal. So you have an understanding of a goal. So most people have goals, right? Mm-hmm. What most people don't have is strategy or have an understanding of strategy. Because strategy is how am I going to get there? Okay. And then the next step is what activities or actions do I need to take to move along so I can get closer to my goal? That's what most people don't have. They don't have the understanding of strategy or what it even means. And then the activity and the action is fortitude and it's drive and people fling around this word discipline. Discipline is just repeated actions that turn into consistency. That's all it is.
Okay. So all right. I will give my why I said, okay, let me I will adjust it. I don't think people have realistic goals. And what I mean is, and this is where I was coming from, especially talking about widget person.
Yeah.
Widget most likely has a job.
Yeah.
Most likely has a job. Jobs don't initiate. I'm talking about personal goals.
Yeah.
They tell you what they're paying you.
Yeah.
It's not like, that's you getting paid this for doing that. This is what you have to do to get this pay.
True.
It's conferred. Remember, I was talking about the word. It's conferred upon you. It said that if you do this, you'll get that. You go to school. If you do this, you'll get that.
Yeah.
When you go in entrepreneurship, you can do this and get squat. So where does the goal have to come from? Ain't nobody out here gonna tell you. Yeah. Oh, well, because widget A is so good, you know what? You should make $200,000 a year. Nope, not happening. It's like it's what happens. The market tells you in terms of who buys it, but it comes from a place of you do your research, which is part of the foundation. You got to let it. Part of yours is understanding. Like boom, it's a comprehensive goal. It's a step beyond. You
Well,
have
can the land carry the weight of this building? That's the first question, and that goes to your research, is what you're saying.
yeah. Well,
Right.
first of all, when I'm building, is it even feasible?
Yeah, correct.
So what I feel like is that people, doing things, anything, like I say, I take because we have Pastor Heyward in the comments. 20 years ago, coincidentally, we went to his 20-year gala. It was a blast. It was wonderful out there in Hampton. 20 years ago, he decided to start a church. Few members. No guarantee. It had to be internal to say, yo, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Keep growing. Got to help the church now. It's whatever you're doing, you got to have. But he knew there's a goal. Like, I want to see. So most times the goal is vision. But a lot of people, that's what I'm saying. People, sometimes they don't have the vision. Because if you come from employment status, you got to change your hat. Yep, change your thing. You have to change your hat, like because we are conferred everything. Credit score, a credit score to confer, but well, you pay your bills right. So we walk around with a credit score like it's a character trait. There's some horrible people with good credit. So that's what you're saying. No character trait. It just shows that you paid the bills that they track something like that. Conferred. Everything is conferred. There's external validation. All this. But when you get down to this, starting a business, especially from the mud, there's no external validation.
Well, no, because there's no. See, there's that invisible dependency that's created too.
Yeah,
right?
but
give somebody just enough.
What?
Like you to your point, employee versus business owner. The employee mindset, you give you just enough to keep you locked in. When you're not an employee and you are an entrepreneur, small business owner, founder, you have to create that within yourself.
Yeah,
and that's the disparity right there. Like that's the heavy lifting.
So you have to be your first customer.
Yep.
You're your first investor.
Yep.
You're your first everything.
Your first everything. Then, first employee, the whole nine.
Yeah. If you have a partner, you have to be able. That's a shareholder, right there. Even without spending money, if you share your life with somebody, you have an accountability to that person.
Because you're sharing you're sharing that time space right there. That time and space is
has to be there. But all this stuff. So what the great way that to be able to, when you have like in communication with people, you have a tangible, know your why.
Yeah.
Down in the chat. You have a tangibility about it. It's easier to explain. It's easy because no one else can see the vision that you see. Like no one. It doesn't matter how close you are, no one can see it. So you have to be able to communicate that.
Well, the play here is, I mean, this is further down the road once people figure out their why and who they are. But how do you align because people can't necessarily see a vision, how do you align your vision or the business's vision with their particular skill sets?
Oh yeah, that's way down the line. But you know how you get there is you got to do self-evaluation. And it goes back to the goal. I mean, my underarching thing is the reason I said that I don't feel like people have goals. Let me say reachable goals, because it's easy to sit there and have the vision and see yourself on a yacht. What's my man used to come on late night on TV, the Asian dude. My man be on the yacht. Yo, he was balling. It was back in the day. I forgot his name. You see that stuff. You see images now. We see it on Instagram or TikTok or something. And you let that vision permeate your brain. And you say, oh, That's success. But it's not backed by anything. We can go rent a boat, right? When you get ready to go fishing, we go get a bigger boat. We sit out there with suits on in 90-degree weather, chilling. Ta ta ta.
I'll never do that. But
I know, but I'm saying theoretically you could.
true.
And that's how people are building these brands.
Not everybody, but yeah, but a good portion of
But the
it.
visible ones.
Yeah,
It's
true.
visible. But
True.
my thing is, even if it's not everybody, it's getting absorbed.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, like I'm saying, like
It becomes a conversation either way, right?
it becomes the normal.
Yeah.
It becomes the normal, so people believe that that's what you're supposed to do. Well, I gotta, fake it till you make it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, you can fake it till you make it, but you know what? The game, you're not going to fake but so much. The game is going. It's going to.
The game is rigged, people. It's rigged.
rigged. The game is unforgiving. So you can fake it as much as you want, but let me tell you something. You will be humbled. Like it's true.
Yeah, I just found this report, right? To add on to what you're saying. I don't. It's saved somewhere. I was trying to look for it this morning, but I was a little foggy. It's somewhere anyway. 35%. I think it was between 35 and 37% of small businesses. So we know the 90s, we know the 90%, right?
Yeah.
But the apparent number is between 35 and 37% of small businesses that was created within the first 12 months actually close. They just don't go nowhere.
Well, I mean, that's not shocking.
No, it's not. I don't know if people pay because they like I'm not part of that number, but you got either 12 months or you got 3 to 5. Which bucket do you fall into?
Yeah. Well, you know what? One thing about that statistic that really puts back in this external thing too is the assumption that, okay, if you do make it 12 months, you made it. That just means you didn't close in the first 12 months. That doesn't mean that there's a pot of gold on the back of this 12 months. And it sets people's perception up to believe that, well, we made it. I made it 6 months. I made it 12 months. And it's back there, a book entitled Built on Bedrock. Great book. I need to read it again. But I'm going to put this out just to keep this in mind on what we're talking about right now. Where Walmart was not profitable for 17 years. 17 years was not profitable.
Say that slower for me, bro.
So Walmart, the behemoth that it is now, whether you love them or hate them, pretty much everywhere and has everything, was not profitable for 17 years. That's in that book. Now remember, I said it earlier in the show. Profitability is when you have 1 cent more. You've earned 1 cent more than you spent.
Yeah, that's the definition.
Now, I'm not saying that they had 1 cent more than they. What I'm trying to say is profitability is a measure. It's a metric. We're gonna get into that future shows. It's a metric. It's a vanity metric. I put in some of the North Star stuff. It's a vanity metric. But 17 years. Walmart. There's some other, because I look at these things. There's something else I read. I mean, we're talking about 10 years, 15 years before these companies that we know and we just, oh my gosh.
Well, let's go to people. Let's add on to now people, right? KFC.
Oh yeah, my man.
His mind didn't get there until he was like 50-something years old.
Yeah, I think it was 60.
And then he jumped, or 60. Then he jumped into business, and then boom. So it's a correlation between maturity of business and the individual as well, right? And so those things tie in, and it's not just him. There's a bunch of people.
Yeah,
Warren Buffett's and all of those, right? So
yeah. Well, and that's why when I read, I like reading people's beginnings.
yeah, because you gotta, yeah, everybody want to see the celebratory
Yeah,
aspect, but
like I said in football, everybody loves celebrating the touchdown, but ain't nobody want to practice.
I'll tell you, Gary V, my guy, Gary V. Everybody jumps on Gary V. And yeah, I know Gary. As soon as you say Gary V, everybody knows Gary.
I know.
Did you go back to them days when he was selling wine on YouTube and he had nobody on that joint?
Yeah, nobody. Yeah,
like, and, you know what I mean? And he's saying, he's pretty much still saying and doing the same thing he was doing from when he started. He just stayed consistent.
Yep, and that's the foundation as we get ready to.
And we're not being sponsored by him, by the way, just so we.
Nah, we already said we're sponsored by us.
So for those that just running across this,
yeah, right. But no, so it goes back to the beginning of, all right, do you understand what it takes to build a business? And yeah, we talked about this. Another thing, like inevitably, when you build anything, like a home, like I said, real estate, everybody gets real estate because everybody lives somewhere, so they think they get real estate. But one thing about construction projects, they never go to plan. Like none of them, not one of them, do they go to plan. It's there's always an overrun, a delay, and certain things that you can't control. They never go to plan as planned. Never. All right, it doesn't. Same thing. It's your plan. This is why we talk about planning. The plan is there to guide you, to keep you in the guard. It's a guardrail, but it's there to guide you through. But you're building something. Rome wasn't built in a day. Walmart wasn't profitable for 17 years.
I don't even like that term no more. You know why? Because people use that thing just for excuses, right?
But I don't even think they use it no more.
Yeah, there's still people that use it.
I ain't heard nobody, because everybody, listen, I told you the YouTube, because of the pixel and all that, and it's following me. I went from, YouTube, because I'm studying YouTube stuff. Now I make $30,000 a month for YouTube. And you look at this guy like, really? You doing this? Then why are you on YouTube? Like, would you be doing something else? Like, if I had 30,000, like, this guy makes 500,000, and now there's a secret with that. Just as a sidebar, these people could be making this money, but they ain't necessarily making it from YouTube. They're getting leads from it. That's for their business, but they're not saying that. The hook is not
well
there.
Because they don't want to give away their secret.
Well, no, I got 6 seconds to get your attention. What's going to be more impressive? Hey, I make money because I get these leads from YouTube. Or look, I make 30,000 more for YouTube. So you're gonna be like, your thumb will say, "Oh, here, let me check that out." So,
true.
But building a business, and okay, here's my being nice part about this. To summarize, here's the deal: establish goals. Establish goals for yourself individually, with your partner, your family. Establish goals when you're going into business. You have to establish goals. You have to use simple goal. If you're employed now, and that quantifiable goal. One thing that people say is, well, I want to be able to go do my business full time. What number is that? Because we deal in revenue. You make $75,000 a year. Number one, your business probably, let's just to make it simple, your business has to make $150,000 a year for you to have $75,000 a year. It's all relative. That's what we explore in the North Star. You have to say that. Okay, so you can't be like, I make $75,000 a year. You're not taking home $75,000, but you make $75,000 a year gross. Your business making $75,000 a year where the business has expenses is not going to cut it. You're not bringing it home. But you have a goal. It's simple. I want to make the same amount I made here as a leap. So you make your quantifiable goals. You may not know how to get there. That's not what I'm saying. That's what you call Brother Kory. You do that. You may not have any idea how to get there. I can make widget A, and I need to take home $75,000 a year. Kory, help me. All right. Now, he'll eventually get you over to me because you see I'm a little rambunctious. So, but you have your goals and don't be discouraged. These numbers that we mentioned earlier, 6 months, 12 months, they're survival measures. You're in survival mode. And don't let anybody tell you different. You listen to people out here telling you they made, this 22-year-old makes $22 million a year. For whatever. You know what that story is for? It's for selling the publication that you read. It's not made for you. Right? It's not you. It's not you. So I say with encouragement, people are here to help. And you just gotta be goal oriented with that. I'm good, man. This is yo.
I'm gonna leave him with something you said. I'm gonna leave him with something you said, right? So for those that watch us, know that we into the E-Myth methodology. So if you haven't gotten the book and dived into it, I highly suggest you do so. Profit first too.
Oh yeah.
Built on bedrock it's over there. Mine's over there. So built on bedrock. We're gonna leave you with this, right? Let's pull up some notes.
Oh, okay.
The argument is that great businesses are built on fundamentals, not hype, trends, or the pursuit of rapid scale. It distinguishes between entrepreneurs who build durable, profitable companies and those pursuing high growth, venture style entrepreneurship. The bedrock is the underlying foundation, meaning understanding customers, creating genuine value, controlling the economics of the business, developing repeatable processes, and building an organization capable of surviving without depending entirely on the founder. Period.
Yeah, it is. We on the net, so we're gonna keep because it's our methodology. We believe it. We're not just telling you this stuff.
Right.
Right. We believe it. But so when you see so many people that it's not that they can't get it, but they're so far away from that. And if I know it, I need to say it. You may not agree or whatever, but I'm not going to say that. I'm like, listen, we because the themes recur in book after book, story after story, talking to people that have made to their level of success. So, but do your homework. We out, man. It's been real.
On fishing.
2 weeks. Yeah, go on fishing. We'll catch you in a couple weeks. Peace.